Hey friends, welcome back. Glad you're joining me today. I'm just working through some of the 2024 garden seed plans, and I thought I would bring you along. I have my laptop next to me, and I think I'll just show you. We have like a map of like where things we're planning on going, and then I also have a spreadsheet that I've been building out. It's taken lots of time. It's my baby, so I'd love to show that to you, and hopefully that will inspire you to get organized for your growing season. So let's get into it. Okay, so the program I'm using in this today is Figma. Me and Adrian are both graphic designers, so we use Figma a lot in our jobs, which makes it handy for garden planning. So let's just jump into it. This chaotic mess is our garden currently. So I can just show you some highlights, some places where we want to put stuff, and where we're expanding our garden, because there's a bunch of new patches and beds we are planning on doing. So I can start with the main garden at the moment. This is the current setup. We have these 4 trellises on each of the entrances to the garden, and then 3 beds in each quadrant. The brown boxes are areas for compost. At the moment, we haven't built those in-ground compost beds, so this one's a hole and this one's nothing. It's just empty. We are mixing things up a little bit this year. I'm gonna have a bunch of peas, obviously, in these rows. And for each of these beds, 80 went and numbered all of them on the sides, so I know what I'm talking about. And then in relation to that, I'm going in with kind of like a post-it type thing, and writing exactly what I want to put in these beds and how many. And that helps me to know how many seeds I need to start. And once I get into the garden to direct sow, it'll also tell me which area I need to put them in. This is all based off a square foot model bed. So when it comes to spacing, a lot of things can be grown by the foot, if you will. Some of them are different. So like, for example, carrots can do 16 in a square foot. So I have 5 areas where there's carrots, so that's 5 times 16, and that's how many carrots we're gonna have in this total bed. With onions, you can put 6 in, so that's 6 times 9 in each of these different areas. So that helps me to tell like how many things we're gonna have, and if I'm if I'm putting too many things in the bed. See, I do tend to get gung-ho. Like, I was looking at tomatoes this morning. I was like, ooh, that's a lot of tomatoes. But I'm also like, I like tomatoes, so maybe I'll keep it. I don't know. So we have all these beds laid out, and what we've just done for the icons is just like look up icons online to find something to visually represent what's going where. So like I said before, this was the existing garden that we made yesterday, last year, as well as this corn 3 sisters bed. But basically everything else besides that in the strawberry beds is going to be new. So I can start on this side, ignore all the, I was looking for a good zucchini thing, but ignore those. We have 3 hazelnut trees here. We want to have a pathway that we can still walk, but there is a lot of land over here. So I was thinking we could do a squash / pumpkin bed / watermelon bed. And again, with these take up more space, so I'm giving them quite a bit of room. And I have all of the different types listed out here. And then below that, we are doing a bunch of potatoes. We did like 2 grow bags of potatoes last year, and that was nothing. That was like a meal. So I ordered a bunch of potatoes and I'm super excited, and they're going to be coming in the spring. So we have plenty of potato beds to create. I think we're just going to mound them up. We're not going to like bury them. I've seen a lot of people have success with that. So we have a German butterball, Yukon gem, Kuka gold, and then more German butterball. And then with these beds, we're going to pair them with nasturtiums and marigolds and probably some other flowers, because those are good companion plants. I wanted to try doing like a little teepee like circle area with some of the peas. Again, I'm trying to grow a bunch of peas because we love garden peas, and I'd like to not buy any peas, like frozen peas, just to like throw in dishes, because they're super easy and adorable, and I'm a pea person now. That sounds kind of weird. Anywho, I'm gonna do 2 little things over here and surround it with flowers. I also have some icons where I'm gonna have random carousel flowers around. These are a dwarf type of sunflower, and I think they only get to like 3 feet, and they have multiple heads on them. So I think that will be fun to have like a little pop of sunflower throughout the garden. We are expanding our beds further towards the house, so we're adding these 2 beds. This one's going to be mostly a hot pepper bed, along with beans and carrots and whatnot. And then this is going to be our brassica bed. We have a tree over here, a maple tree, and it does cast some shade. So I was thinking this would be a good area for brassicas because they don't need like super direct light at all times. So we just have our broccoli and cauliflower and bok choy and stuff like that over here. And then if we expand over to the right side of the garden, we're gonna have 2 major beds of carrots, onions, celery, and cabbage, along with like herbs like basil and flowers. We got pelleted bolero carrot seeds, like a good amount from, I think it was Johnny's. And so pelleted seeds you can't really store as long or as well as like regular seeds. So it is my goal to plant all of them. I think there's like over 1,000. So I do want to plant them, and I think we are gonna like succession sow carrots this year. So hopefully we can get through those. I love carrots. I love just eating. Like, if you guys have not grown carrots, it's a whole experience. Like, the sweetness is unfathomable. Like, go and grow your own carrots because they taste so good. And we also use them in a lot of different dishes just as an additive or for making stock. So super handy. And again, with the onions, like, we want to have a bunch of onions because we love onions and we go through a bunch, and it would be nice to not have to buy so many. So those are those beds. And then we have we have 2 3-sister like U-shaped beds with corn, squash / pumpkins, and beans. We got a good amount of this honey and cream sweet corn. I believe it was from Botanical Interest. So that's going to be these 2 beds. And between these, I have a bunch of different squash. I got so many like squash and gourd and pumpkin seeds. So we're going to load up on those. And then I also got a bunch of bean seeds. So we're going to 3 sisters this area over here, which is exciting. We grew corn last year and it was doing really well, but we think a raccoon was like climbing up to eat our corn and then just knocked all of it down. We had all of our corn in these 3 areas here, and it all got pulverized before we could even eat it. So if we can get corn this year, Oh my God, I'm gonna die. It'll be great. So once you walk past the garden down kind of this slope, this is like a sloped area, and we have like a pear tree here. So this is our original pumpkin patch. We did pumpkins over here last year, and what happened is it got pretty overrun with weeds. We did get pumpkins out of it. Like it was okay, but I do think I want to do landscape fabric or something underneath. And these ones too, you don't really want your pumpkins or your squash or your watermelons touching the soil because they can rot. So I'm thinking maybe we'll just try landscape fabric or some sort of covering of some sorts over here to manage the weeds and also to protect our pumpkins. But yeah, have a bunch of different varieties here. I'm very excited for those. I'm thinking too on the opposite side, we have this like really large burn pile slash like fire pit area. It has a bunch of huge rocks around it, so that's not like moving anytime soon. But I would love to do like a cute little sunflower patch. I love sunflowers. So maybe we can do that this year too. And in addition, like what I have kind of like on the border of the walkways, again, the walkways are just like grass and clover. They're not like, we don't have like wood chip or gravel walkways. We're just indicating that we don't want to grow anything in these spaces because we need to get places. But on the border, I really want to put as many flowers as we can, nasturtiums, marigold, basil, to try to deter pests and also to bring in pollinators. Let's see what else we got. Oh yeah, by the corn beds, the Three Sisters, and kind of across from the maple tree, we have some more potatoes. So I want to do our fingerlings. We have a Magic Molly fingerling and strawberry pot, and I want to put those over here again with more flowers surrounding them. And yeah, I think besides that, that's where most of the seeds are going to go. Again, we have more growing spaces in the front of our house, and a bunch of different places around our yard, but that's like, this is the main growing space. But what I can show you actually is our spreadsheet. So I'm gonna switch over to that. All right, so this is our Big Daddy seed inventory list. This has all the information that I need on it for the growing season. So I can start off with our major categories up at the top. So we have each of our different vegetables or flowers. So these are peppers, and then we have the specific variety name, red bell pepper, Greek pepperoncini, king of the north, etc. This column has the seed number in it, like how many seeds are in each packet. And then I have the total amount of plants that I want to put out in the garden. This is important because it references back to that map of knowing how many seeds I actually need to start. This is a check mark for if it is an heirloom or open pollinated. Again, very important for seed saving, so that I know that these varieties I can save and re-sow every single year. I have the packet from which they came, whether they should be started indoor or outdoor, and then also their start date, as well as the main location. Next column I have is whether we saved the seeds or not. So anything with the check mark we saved from last year. I also have the year available to mark down. Some of these seeds are from earlier years, 2022, 2023. So I am just referencing that to know that these guys I should prioritize in using up. I also have a column for price. I like to just know that and have that offhand, and I'm curious to see the fluctuations from year to year. And then below, I have it categorized by flowers, herbs, gourds and melons, beans and peas, tomatoes, peppers, root vegetables, onions and garlic, brassicas and greens, other, which is asparagus, celery, corn, cucumber, eggplant mix, and then our cheat sheet. So there you go. This is our flowers section. We have amaranth, bee balm, echinacea, hollyhock, hyssop, lavender, lupin, marigold, sunflowers, sweet peas, pretty straightforward. The next category we have is herbs. Look at all that basil. Oh my god. We love basil. It's a great pest deterrent. It's great for pollinators. A lot of the different versions are just so good smelling. Like the sacred basil, Tulsi holy basil is like one of the best smells I've smelt in my life. Just fantastic plants. So we're growing a bunch of that. Next category is gourd/melons. They're not really related, but they do have similar growing areas, so I decided to put those all together. And I categorized by summer versus winter. And then I have my watermelon. I only bought 3 different types this year, but I'm very excited to have watermelon. And then we have all our pumpkins. We have a lot of squash this year. Next category is beans/peas. For the beans, I have them categorized by drying, snap, pull, and runner. And then the peas, I have shelling, snap, and snow. Next category is tomatoes and peppers. So I have peppers up here divided by sweet versus hot. This also includes my overwintered peppers. So I think we did already put that in one of our videos, but we overwintered 4 different pepper plants that did the best in our garden last year. And we're going to try to plant those out and see if we can have like a second year pepper plant, which is really cool. So we have 2 red bells, a poblano, and a rainbow jalapeno that we saved. So I'm going to put those back in the garden and we'll see if we can actually do that. And then with our tomatoes, I have them divided by Roma, slicing, cherry, and then I also have tomatillas and ground cherries. I've never grown ground cherries before, and I'm very excited to see that. I don't know. I think I'll really enjoy that. So very excited for that. And then next category is root vegetables. So we have our carrots, radish, and potatoes. Then we have our onions and garlic, so alliums and garlic. So we have yellow onions, red onions, leeks, and then our garlic. We already planted all our garlic in the fall. Next category is brassicas and greens. So we have our broccoli, broccolini, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, cauliflower, and pak choi. And then in the greens, we have lettuce, other greens like arugula, spinach, collards, and then kale. We have a other section for things that don't really fall into anything. In there we have asparagus, celery, corn, cucumber, and eggplant. The next thing is just the cheat sheet for referencing the frost. So we start off with 10 to 12 weeks before last frost, 8 to 10, 6 to 8, 4 to 6, which is also the same as soon as possible or as soon as the ground can be worked. But I do like to, if it says as soon as the ground can be worked, I do like to put ASAP, but those are basically the same thing. And then we have 2 to 4, 1 to 2 after frost, 1 to 2 after, and then 2 to 4 after. So have all of those in there right now. I think this is going to really help organize us as we get our stuff going. I can just like pull this up and be like, okay, I want 5 ace bell peppers. I'm not going to sow the entire freaking packet of 25. And now that's going to be really hard because when we're soil blocking, I want all the plants. I want all of them. And it's going to be really hard to be like, okay, like let's sow. I'm going to sow more than the ones I actually need. So I'm going to sow probably 7, just in case 2 die. But I'm not going to do more than that. We'll see if that happens. But anyway, so that is what we're planning on right now. I'm still actively working on it. I'm having a very hard time not buying more seeds. Even though I really don't need any, I think we're covered, but it's hard. It's hard. It's an addiction, I fully admit, but yeah, this has been a lot of work and I think it's going to pay off, and hopefully this is a system that we can use going forward for the next growing seasons, and we can continue to improve it and add to it and make our lives streamlined, which is always optimal. The less time we can spend thinking about our garden, like planning it out, the more time we can actually just garden. So I definitely have a few things I'm super excited for that we're going to be growing. One of them is the Dr. White Cheese yellow tomato. Another one is just all the different types of peas. Maybe specifically the King Tut. Those look really cool. I'd love to hear what vegetables or flowers or anything you guys are excited to grow in your gardens. And also, I know I said I shouldn't buy any seeds, but if you guys have any recommendations for your like favorite things that you've grown or tried, put them down below, because I want a reason to buy more seeds. So help me feed my addiction. Thank you. If you guys like this kind of stuff and enjoy gardening and want to follow along on the adventure, go ahead and subscribe, click the bell. We're going to be posting a lot more content. Obviously, it's still January, so we're not going to be gardening just yet, but I think we can start our very first seeds in February, so it's coming up. So glad to have you guys here, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Where's the camera? There it is. That was stupid. I don't know how people do that. Bye. Bye. I need to end the video. Bye.